Hi YouTube, this is VidHead85 and I'm coming at you today with an event that I heard was happening yesterday but left out the LGBT component. It was a bigotry rally that was held in connection with a few churches, and I believe that they were talking about racial bigotry, but what ended up happening was when a gay activist had confronted the organizers as well as one of the state senators who were speaking there, they had basically bullied him and called him and made it seem like he was very confrontational. From the reports that I have heard, they're secondhand resources that are very reliable, that was not the case. Simply, the fact is, a bigotry rally that leaves out LGBT individuals is highly suspect because of the simple fact that if we look around in 2012 and 2011 at all of the events that happened, especially including the amount of transgender people that were murdered and a lot of the hate crimes that occurred during these last 2 years, we can definitely see that there is a growing backlash. Every time there is progress on a minority's rights, we often see a terrible backlash. The three justices that participated in Varnum versus Bryan in 2010 were not retained. Now, some people say that that's because they were soft on crime or this or that, but I cannot accept that completely because of the simple fact that Varnum was such a decision that had to have aroused a lot of conservative backlash, and you know that I very well could be wrong, but as far as I'm concerned, it seems like the evidence more points to what I had stated. The next point is, especially after with the Republican primaries going on, we've seen a lot I've seen a lot of news reports where gay people were being bashed all over the place, and we're not only being bashed physically, but we're also being bashed in so many state houses across the nation. Now, what does this have to do with us being left out of bigotry rallies and things like that? Well, simply, why would they want to include us when they want to bash us so much? Every time there is an event with someone, let's say even a church, I remember going to one that was dealing with HIV and STDs, and they were talking about MSM and men who have sex with men, because not all of them identify themselves as gay men. They were saying that, you know, at a higher risk, this and that. But the thing is, what leads a person to such self-destruction? It is such, like Zachary Taylor, the bigotry, the spewing of hatred that he heard in his own town of Norman, Oklahoma. I'd even seen some of the testimony where some people were saying, well, it's destructive, the lifestyle is destructive, and that points back to when I was going to that one church and they were talking about HIV and STDs and MSM, but they weren't talking about the blatant homophobia that is spewed out from many churches and many areas where the public is seeing it and can easily pick up on these stories. Now, it's easy to say that, quote, homosexuality is destructive, but it's harder to look at your words and say, I am a part of what makes this destructive, or what makes, I am a part of someone else's self-destruction. We've heard so many times people say that it's destructive, it destroys families. What you're really talking about is homophobia. What you're really talking about is an irrational fear and hatred of gay and lesbian individuals to the point where you will easily transfer that homophobia and hatred over to someone who's gay or lesbian and say, it's your choice, it's you who are making me hate you. So being left out is not something that the LGBT community that is new to us. We're rarely ever at the table. I've never seen any folks at the table with HIV and AIDS issues, because especially when I've seen it organized by black leaders or with a predominant emphasis on race, sexuality is not represented. And if we can't talk about sexuality, how can we talk about homosexuality? If we can't talk about simple, condoms, lube, make sure you're safe, how are we going to really confront bullying and bigotry and HIV? We can't confront all of that when we're leaving people out away from the table that are really affected the most by this. And this really disturbs me as a gay black man, because I am tired of feeling as if I'm a traitor to the black community because you, the black community, won't reach out your hand to help us with these issues that we're facing, especially with bigotry. You can say it's wrong all you want, but can you really say in your heart of hearts that justifies discrimination, knowing the level of discrimination that you faced? The simple fact is that it really saddens me a lot that the black community is so hesitant to include us. But many of us look like you, we talk like you, we know you, and we know that some of you in that church decry us in public in the daylight, but you are in our beds at night. Don't act like we don't know. Don't act like in your church there aren't people who have wives and are sleeping with men on the side, or have husbands and are sleeping with women on the side either. Don't act like you're organist, especially mostly in areas where children are not involved, that there are gay individuals who are in the church. And also, don't act like that people who do work with kids are not gay either. And we love the black community, but as far as I'm concerned, I don't know the black community a damn thing if they're going to sit here and tell me that because I'm gay, I don't have a right to sit at the table and talk about bigotry and HIV and about the different things that affect the black gay community. Now, the gay community itself, we were left out of that rally consciously. And it's disturbing because bigotry affects us the most. How can you look at things that happened this year and not understand that bigotry affects us? Someone said that faith is not the will just to believe, but the will to disbelieve. So I'm going to leave you with that point. What do you think? Why are LGBT people, and especially when it comes to the community of color, why do you think that it's harder to be included at the table? Religion definitely plays a part, but I want to know, where have you noticed that LGBT people are left out of important discussions that affect us in our communities? And if you are a LGBT person of color, we need you too. We need you as well. And we need every single person that we can. But we especially need gay people of color, because it seems like most people are saying that gay people of color do not exist, and therefore the community of color just can do whatever they want and say whatever they want. But when the gay community steps back and exposes the hypocrisy of such people, then all of a sudden we're sacrilegious. So rate, comment, subscribe, let us know. Let me know what you think, and I'll be embedding this, I'll be sharing this on Facebook, but if you like, please go to YouTube and like and comment if you have a YouTube account as well. All right, peace, love, and hair grease. Vidhead 85.